Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Eve and I make videos a little bit about everything from K-pop to commentary to reactions to pop culture to drama to a ton of different things. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please consider subscribing. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. So today's video is more on the drama side, kind of, question mark, news, I don't know. I don't know what to call it, but it's basically just me. I'd like to call it a video essay because I've come across something that I want to talk about today. Um, and so yeah. Before we get into it, I do want to say a majority of you guys who watch my channel are not subscribed. So if you want to see more videos like this in the future, like me, just I have a lot planned by the way. I have like quite a few topics to talk about within the coming uploads. So if you want to be on board with that, if you want to see me read SM Entertainment to Filth in the future, it's coming. please please come aboard. Please welcome aboard. And yeah, this video is being made because on Thursday, March 6th, Juyeon of the boyz took to the group's messaging platform From and said the following: "Whatever the reason, I'm sorry to make the B wait and make you feel frustrated. I'll listen to the B more and share my thoughts. I only want to give something good to you. A part of Apart from everything else, these days it's just I lost confidence in myself. This is something that I have to pull back on myself. I think it's growth to feel this." It was a bit like that. I think it was my temper, but there are so many people waiting for me. I was the only one who thought about it, and I will try to show you a lot of good things now. So, you may be listening to this and hearing this, what he said, and maybe thinking, now, why would he even like say this randomly on a random Thursday just because, right? No, it's not just because. I'm going to tell you why he said these things. This is going to be a video of me talking about a few things that I feel like we've crossed the line just a little. Not even just a little, like this is insane. There's going to be a part 2 to this video because there was something else that happened while I was writing the script for this one. So I'm like, yeah, stay tuned for that one because I have more things to say about that, but on a bigger scale. But anyway, like I was saying, um yeah, a few days prior to him sending this message, some K-doppies, so their Korean fan base, yeah, they shared anger and frustration for many things. But one in specific was a fan called Juyeon had with a fan. OP, as in the person who made the post talking about her experience on this fan call with Juyeon, um, had said that they felt like Juyeon wasn't paying attention and that he didn't care much. Which honestly, he's probably just tired because being a K-pop idol is not for the weak. And given the schedules that they must be having lately with the comeback coming up, like what if he just doesn't have the time for it, guys? Has that ever occurred to you? Thank you. Anyway, people also argued that since they spend money on them, they shouldn't be acting this way. And I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending. This was a stupid thing to say, considering half of these people who said these things have seen the boys countless amount of times, might I add, because these are the same people who are constantly having fan calls with them, who are constantly seeing them perform, whether it be at like music shows or something, or just concerts. They have concerts like every other day in Korea too. So what I'm about to say next is even crazier, which keep that in mind. They get a lot of different opportunities to see and interact with the group, which I'm not complaining. Like, good for you. I'm really glad that that's a thing. But you know, but because you are able to do that does not mean that they can't not feel well one day. I'm reading a script, by the way, so I'm making sure I don't miss any parts. Don't mind me. They can't just expect these human beings to act like puppets on a string controlled by those who so badly want to be master puppeteers. Well, newsflash, this isn't the Muppets, and Julian is not Kermit the Frog. So I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but like you can't do that. You don't own these people. However, tons of international Adobe's, including myself, have shared how unfair this was. Juyeon, as well as all the members of the boys, have always done more than enough for us, the fans. Not to mention the fact that there's so many things K-Dobies have and can participate in. You never see us complaining about that. You never see us complain. The only times I feel like I've complained is being like, "Oh, I wish I could have been there." But I'm not sitting there being like, "Yeah, we'll fuck everyone who got to see them," because you know why? Because you know what? Only I'm allowed to go see them. But who the anyway? Juyeon has always been so kind, so thoughtful, so selfless, and this we know about him. Like, if you're Adobe, you know how genuine of a person he is, and that's something that I myself admire him for because it is such a good quality to have. It's rare to find people like that, and that's what breaks my heart even more, knowing that Juyeon has gone to the point of saying that he lost confidence in himself. Juyeon, if you're watching this, you're doing amazing, sweetie. Don't listen to these weirdos. This is the same guy who buys flowers for Dobbies on Valentine's Day. Every Valentine's Day. This is the same guy who also never fails to tell fans to dress warmly, to make sure they've eaten, and to take good care of themselves. You could see him after like schedules, after shows or whatever, telling fans to get home safely. And I recall this one time when, because before they were on Bubble, and before they were on Bubble, they were on Universe. The boys have been everywhere. They were on Bubble. I had Juyeon's Bubble, and I remember this one time he said something along the lines of, "I'll love Dolby forever, even if Dolby one day decides that they hate me. I'm still gonna love them a lot." This man, this man never fails to let the fans know that he loves and cares about them. It's evident. Like, it's not, they mean it. They mean it. So taking advantage of that is fucking crazy if you ask me. This man has always told us time and time again that he cares, but God forbid he's tired during a fan call. It isn't fair and it isn't right. Plus, I heard a lot of people saying that the person who made the initial post about the fan call um took the fan call out of context. Yikes. Not so sure about that. I never saw the full thing, but a lot of people were saying that that was taken out of context and only there to paint Julian as a bad person, which additionally, I'd like to discuss how some gross fans, quote unquote fans, were complaining about the boys taking bathroom breaks. I can't make this up. Guys, I'm being so for real. They were mad about how, oh, they go to the bathroom during breaks. They go to the bathroom during fan calls or whatever, or during like fan signs. How dare they go to the bathroom during schedules? Have you ever been in school? Have you ever been in school? Clearly, you haven't been in school because you guys are acting very. I. But that's besides the point. You're gonna need to hear me out a little more. You're gonna need to hear me on this one because have you ever been like at school or like work or whatever, and you're like, ah, I need to go to the bathroom. Like I really need a piss. So you go. It's the same thing for them. Like this is their job. They just need to go. I don't understand how that's a problem. I really don't understand how that's a problem. Maybe I just don't get it or whatever. But I can't be the only person that thinks this is ridiculous, right? Right? Like this shouldn't even be a problem. This shouldn't even be something that they should feel bad about. I hope that they saw this and laughed too, being like that. Well, that's something new. So now that June has apologized for something that he shouldn't have had to, by the way, a lot of the same people who caused him to feel this way are saying, "Oh my gosh, June's June lost confidence in himself," and I'm like, "Guess what? Guess why? Can you guess why? Are we just? Do you want me to bring up this shit that you guys were saying about him just a few days ago? You realize that they do see this stuff. You realize that they see this stuff and they like it affects them. They're people. They're people. This shouldn't be like this shouldn't be a norm. Like bullying the people that you love is not cool. Sure, maybe there's more to it, but like he's a human being, right? He's human, just like the rest of us. And who knows what he's dealing with internally. This could also be just he's not feeling well himself, and then this would be adding on to that. Like, how fucked up is that? How fucked up can you be to just like telling him he's not doing enough when I know very well that him and the rest of the boys do too much for everyone? Ugh, I won't be surprised if in a few years they just stop interacting with fans in general. Anyway, we don't know what these idols are battling in their minds. It's the same for random strangers on the street. So it's common sense to just be nice to strangers. And guess what? You don't know any of them personally. So technically we're all strangers, right? Um so it's common sense to be nice to people, to strangers, people that you don't know the story of. You don't know if Juyeon himself was dealing with something. We don't know that. We don't know that. And so feeling like making him feel like he wasn't doing enough on top of that, like I just he deserves the biggest hug ever, and I hope one of his members gave that to him. It's never I hope Juyeon is doing okay. I'm glad that Kevin is in a better situation where he isn't constantly disrespected by his company, IST. It's the sick need in these people's twisted minds to find the smallest things that aren't issues to begin with, and painting them as villains. Kevin had every right to be upset with their former company. He had every right to be excited about leaving that company, because are we forgetting the many times he's been discredited? How many times he's been him and the rest of the boys? I like recall within the last few years of their contract, like I feel like since Maverick era, since it all started, since it barely just started, because when Maverick happened and everything happened with Eric, I feel like everything, like they were all just going through so much, just emotionally. And I recall this one time during Roar. I think it was their studio tune performance, but it was like the behind the scenes. And Chenny is sitting on the floor being like, I'm so tired. And me personally, I did not think, ha ha ha, he's so relatable. I was like, holy shit, I wonder what his schedule was like today or the day before. I wonder if he's getting any rest, like for real. Because my mind is on their well being. Your mind is on, I hope we see him after this. I hope he gets a good night's rest after this. Kevin was not being ungrateful. He was just happy to be out of a toxic environment. I don't know if you've noticed, but towards the end of the boys' contract with IST Entertainment, the guy seemed literally so exhausted, so over everything. Knowing how many times these boys were discredited and only used because they were IST's only form of income. I don't think they're ready for that conversation. They're as in IST. I literally don't even remember the last time they had a proper break too. The only time I remember them actually having a break from schedules was when Eric got sick and went on hiatus. Because in the beginning they were like, I think they had like a few weeks off, like 2 weeks off, because that was a lot to handle. The fact that it took a member getting sick for them to finally have some time off. I think I remember at the time Kevin said, I haven't been back in Canada in 4 years. Does that not concern you? Like, I can only imagine what type of like stuff they were going through mentally. Sure, maybe there was good parts of that company, but let's not idolize companies. Thank you. By the way, those of you who made Eric feel bad about being sick before, um, you're sick. You're the one that's sick in the head. Yeah, you are. I know. That was in 2022. But don't think I forgot the nasty ass things that these people were saying about him online. Because they weren't just saying bad stuff about Eric. I recall seeing things being said about all the members. I don't know why that turned into a hey, let's talk about everything that's wrong with each member of the boys. Because what the fuck did they do? They didn't do anything. They didn't do anything. The boys are relatively very unproblematic. I just don't get it. I just don't get why they're always the target when honestly they got nothing on them. So I don't know what you guys are. Anyway, as for Juyeon in this situation, I wish he didn't have to apologize or explain himself when we can tell if we look close enough how badly they all needed a break. Sometimes I wonder, like, do you even like the people you stand? Do you even like the boys? Because this seems like you hate them. It really just seems like you're secretly their biggest haters, and sometimes I hate seeing when a group's fans are the biggest haters. Like, that's actually so heartbreaking because we know how hard these boys work. Because just like you and I, they get tired, exhausted, sad, happy. What was that song by Hannah Montana? I'm just an ordinary girl. Sometimes I'm crazy, I get bored. Sometimes I'm lazy, I get bored. I feel scared, I feel ignored. I feel happy, I get silly. I choke on my own words. This applies to the boys too. They're people. They're just ordinary people. Like you and like me, they're people. So, like, you just gotta think that way. How would you feel in his situation? I would feel so fucking annoyed. They aren't robots. Stop treating them like that. You can't control them. This is not something Elon Musk has a part of. Ew. Sorry, I didn't like mentioning him either. Getting mad at international Adobe's for having signed albums is insane, by the way. I heard from other people, I'm not sure, because I didn't see the actual tweets of people saying that, but I did see other people talking about it, being like, I don't know why you guys are mad about us having signed albums when you guys have fan signs, like, really often. We don't really get anything like that here unless they have, like, high touch at a performance or they come to KCON. But either way, like, we're not complaining about that either. We don't complain when that happens. We're just kind of like, well, not much we can do about it. We're used to that happening because, in the world of K-pop, that's just how it is. It's not the boys' fault. But I digress. Are we forgetting that they're preparing for a comeback? That, like, it is March 10th when I'm filming this. Their comeback is on March 17th. They're preparing for a comeback. Also, not to mention that the comeback is on Sangyeon's enlistment date. So honestly, I personally wasn't thinking too hard when Juyeon wasn't being active. I noticed that he was inactive, but I didn't think much of it. I was like, okay, they're busy. They're in the middle of practicing for an upcoming comeback, and also we don't know what they're going through. Maybe he is going through a hard time. We need to give him the space that he needs to be okay because life is hard, and we don't know how they're doing mentally. We need to really think about that. We need to think about that before we say things too, because Juyeon is somebody that I feel like doesn't want to make anybody upset. So this is very heartbreaking. A big F you to all those people who made Juyeon or any of the other members for that matter feel like they weren't doing enough when they were doing more than that. They were doing more than enough. In fact, I wish they were doing less than enough because I can only imagine how that is. One day this behavior will drive them far away from us. So please, to those people, maybe think before causing all this forced hatred and aggression towards someone so caring. I swear, one day this type of behavior is gonna make them not want to interact with fans in general. Here's some tweets that some fans have posted. So the first one is from Stinky Demi, which I think this one is going to be on the thumbnail, if I'm not mistaken. This is the one that I chose to be on the thumbnail. Juyeon saying he lost confidence in himself? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Everyone who raised their tongue against the boys will suffer. I second that. Head Mireille says people who dislike Juyeon are so odd. Like, why do you have beef with Persephone? Juyeon who makes sure to look every Dobby in the eye at concerts. Juyeon who ignores fan call time limits so Dobbies can talk to him longer. Juyeon who always calls Dobbies cute and he says he loves them. Juyeon who always greets Dobbies outside after shows and concerts. Jumilks? Yeah. I'm going with that. All these motherfuckers crying over Juyeon's message as if they weren't the ones who caused this. So basically, moral of the story, treat the people that you love with more respect. What the fuck is this? This is not looking out for them. This is not being like, oh, but like I love them, that's why. No, because you're not thinking about them. You're not thinking about them at all, because if you were, because for me personally, if anything, I would just wonder if he's okay. Like, just let us know you're breathing, boy. That's all that that's all it really matters, you know. Also, I'm aware that as of today, there are some updates, but I'm going to be addressing that in the next video because that is something that I want to explain on its own and like talk about on its own because it's a problem. It's starting to become a really big problem in the K-pop industry and it's pissing me the fuck off. Anyway, um stream VBV when it comes out. Okay, that's all for this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And if you're watching this far, comment a black cat emoji. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!